perception that we're hiding behind committees. That's the issue, and I can see that because all of a sudden, you know, it's a $56 million budget, and there's a lot of decisions that we and I have to make. I think the public healthy discourse is good. I mean, to think we're just going to button everything up and committee's done it, so we move forward and organize it. Just not that way. So I'm just saying, as long as we don't hide behind the committee perception, that's it.
Hiding, and like I said, Mr. Reddy, I've gotten, and if any board member would like to share on this point, I have heard from many board members after a meeting about the frustration of people not reading it's obvious sometimes that people haven't read the agenda, and that's not the impression I want to leave with the board, with the public.
Yeah, there's no problem talking about things here, but I feel like if people aren't reading the notes and are asking the first question here, then I feel like it's disrespectful. I take a lot of time to put notes in that are really good and detailed. I don't want to find out about an issue here. At least tell me before it, then that means we could start working on it. Then we could talk about it here too, but let's all work together, not bring something up for the first time in a grandstanding kind of way. It's very difficult for me to deal with that, to be honest with you, and I think that that's happened a lot. But I agree, Ms. Brew, with the transparency. There's no problem talking about things, but let's work behind the scenes too, because there are a lot of board members who put a lot of effort into this and don't want to first question. It feels like, why didn't talk to me before? Not because I'm insulted, but if those things are really important, you'd just be working with us all the time, not just at the door.
What if something just comes up to
That's
them?
different.
Because
That's
it just dawned on them. It's just like, you shouldn't have stuff on the hand for that.
No, but I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think that's what's happening, but I appreciate
You're sitting up there though, and that's what it appears.
But I am telling you that that is not what is happening. It's people not reading their notes. I would have no problem, but to talk about it for the first time like it's some great brainstorm, a lot of them are
sometimes things just come to you. Like Mike said, it just came to him. So
I don't have a problem with that.
That was my comment. So.
I think it's unfortunate, though, if you believe that every comment that comes from a board member is an attempt at grandstanding.
I didn't say, Mike, I didn't say that at all.
But you did suggest that in saying grandstanding.
I did not say that everybody grandstands.
I thought that's what you just said, though.
I said grandstanding happens. I didn't say that everybody on the board, because this is an issue. It's very, very frustrating to me.
Okay, but unfortunately, politics is a little messy.
This is not supposed to be, yes, we're voted members, but I thought this is supposed to be not politics. We're supposed
Well, I don't
to
mean
be
politics in the
focusing,
sense
but I
of
feel
Democrat,
that it is.
Republican. I mean politics
Okay,
in the
Mr.
traditional sense.
Stockwell and Ms. Collins, one at a time.
All right, well, I'm just simply saying that I'm just simply making the point that a process. I've done this for 9 years now, and I've also seen other governing entities do it. I think that's, first of all, let me say that I think Vicki's doing the right approach in trying to streamline a process and to try to focus our attention on the most important things. So I'm not against what she is doing. I think she's doing the right approach. I believe having a committee structure to be able to do work that is basically, in many cases, nuts and bolts, is the right way to go. I have seen it done in multiple ways over the last 9 years on this board, and I think this is an effective approach. I also believe that what Deb is making the point of, and I've certainly felt it sometimes as well, is as board members, we are not robots. There are moments when we think of things that come up as we're listening. I read every note that gets to me. I read all the notes. I read all the messages. I send emails to most people when they have questions. That still doesn't take away from the fact that I may come up with an idea while I'm sitting here listening to someone say something that I think makes sense in the relevancy of discussion. So, for example,
And that wouldn't stop you from having.
I'm not saying that you would. I'm just simply putting into context what I think Deb is saying. Excuse me?
And I haven't stopped you from saying things.
Well, I mean, there are
Or
times
when I get an email, I'm going to bring this up in public.
I have often made it clear what I'm going to talk about ahead of time and try to telegraph, because I do want to at least give people some sort of heads up about what's on the top of my mind. But I'm also simply saying that at times, board members may have ideas that pop in their heads as they are.
That's fine, yeah.
And, we shouldn't discourage them.
Yeah, in regards to curriculum instruction questions that have come up in the past, from a different point of view, is we're receiving questions that are great questions at times. It would be nice to have talked about it previously so that we could actually provide an answer. Sometimes those questions are put out there that have an answer, but it would be nice had we had them, with CNI, it's very specific what we're talking about. It'd be nice to have them ahead of time, just so we could give an answer and supply that in public and help answer people's questions. So sometimes having questions in advance is just helpful for us to inform the people and give more information to the public. So that's just kind of looking at it from a different point of view.
But if I'm the public, so years ago we discussed a rotating schedule, which went off great. I think we've discussed 5, 6 years, 7 years, whatever it was. If I'm a public person going, the hell are they doing for 7 years trying to figure out a rotating schedule? Get it done. And then it got done and it's been spectacular, right? So with homework, if I'm a public person going, okay, they talk about this a lot. Nothing seems to be changing. That's the concern I have, because I sat on that CNI committee last year, because for the first 4 years on the board, I did not sit on the CNI committee, and I was going, the heck are they doing on the CNI committee? Because I'm not hearing it, and now, you know, I can only speak to my household. Homework's not really a problem. One kid goes fast, one kid doesn't. It's okay. But I gotta believe in other families, that's still a concern out there. And if we're gonna address it, we should address it instead of just, you know, we should know what the problem is. It shouldn't take this long. That was my only thought. Just because I know we talked about it last year. So I'm glad you guys are working it, which is good. I trust that. So, but I know as a, you know, the public comment or the discourse is healthy, because then at least the public knows, okay, there's, it's happening. Instead of going, okay, it's written on a report, not everything's on the report because we can't put everything on there, right? So that's it.
Ms. Collins, you have
No, I just wish that, certainly talk about it here, but beforehand, like Ms. Briamonte said, let's discuss it beforehand so we can start working on it and work on it in committees, and then we'll bring it up and we'll tell everybody where we're at. That's all, not to first bring it up here. Everybody can, you know, talk about whatever is wrong and, you know, be a hero, and I'm not saying that you're doing that, but that is what I sometimes believe is going on. So I just would appreciate us talking about it beforehand and then bringing it up at the meeting.
And the thing about, you know, trying to help address the public's concerns, I mean, first of all, I would love to see, it's great that we have people here, but it'd be great if people had questions about the homework, they're more than welcome to come. These meetings are posted. I would love to see this room packed. I would love to see more people take an interest in it. So if they have questions and concerns, that's amazing, and I wish they would come and actually tell us that here. No one's telling people they can't come and ask questions about homework if they feel like they're not getting answers they're looking for. I mean,
Why they don't come? They're discouraged. They're discouraged to come because it's a constant question of this organizational chart. And if they have a problem, they're not comfortable speaking to their teacher, their principal, too bad, because that's the order, and that's the comments I hear, and I know that's how I felt early on in my years, is there was always a lot of discouragement from getting to this level. So people don't have time to come. A lot of people listen to the audio. A lot of people listen to the audio, and now we have video, which is better. So.
And then as soon as people email us, I always forward it to wherever it needs to go. So we're, you know, the emails we do receive from the public, they are read, they're forwarded. If I need to get a response out to the board, I get the response out to the board, or Dr. McGarry does. So in any way that the public does have questions about it, it does get, and even if like someone,
you should be encouraged.
and if some people, like for instance, if someone came today and said, we have a question about homework, it would be put right to CNI for further discussion with the administration. I mean, that's what we're trying to do.
I'm saying, so that's what people want.
Ms.
No,
Collins?
but with the whole honors eligibility policy, I think we got far, but I think what happened was there were a lot of people here saying we gotta do something. I'm not saying, you know, like it would be great.
So what do we do? There's too many people, there's not enough people?
I think that, you know, it would be great if people would, you know,
Well, I think
speak up.
I think they did about homework for a long time, and then it was,
Okay.
you know.
No, but it's good to know because,
No pun intended.